Hello, my beautiful rainbow people. Welcome back to Controversy of Zion. This is my program from the Pot Smokers Bible channel that is about me getting in as much trouble as I can. Because I'm trying to kickstart the Controversy of Zion, which is the thing that I have, the, the pivotal moment in the history of Earth comes when the Controversy of Zion breaks. And that's what I'm here to do. Now, today's episode, I'm going to be calling Stop Calling the Police. Because we are at the critical crisis point. The police, as I've said in prior videos, and has been demonstrated on TV coverage, it's like since George Floyd's, since the conviction of his murder, there have been a proliferation of police violence. It's like they are backed into a corner and they're fighting. They're fighting mad because they're about ready to lose their crap and they know it. And so, we need to disarm them. And the only way we can disarm them is to give them nothing to do with us. So, stop calling the police. Now, that's a big statement, I know. But that I believe, seriously, that there is not a single situation in our existence that we cannot handle without the police, less violently. Especially if you're a Zionite. If you're a drug user, why would you call the police? They're the enemy. They're out to get you. Their whole game is druggies versus cops. And if you're a minority, it's whites versus colors. It's a game to them. They're playing a game and they're losing. And they're cheating. They've always cheated. They rigged the rules in their favor. And then they rigged any objection you could have to the rules. Then they just built themselves into a monster. And now we're dealing with a monster. And it's backed into a corner and fighting. Stop calling the cops. Now, I'm not asking you to do this without justification. I am Zion. Everything that I do comes straight from the Bible. All my opinions, all my ideas are based on biblical passages, not the Christian passages, and not really even the Israeli passages. It is uniquely Zionite, which is why I wrote the Book of Zion. Because the Book of Zion was a secret book contained within the prophecy. And it talks about our situation today. Black Lives Matter, police and justice. And I want you to know that this comes from the Bible, not from my mouth. So I'm going to read you a little bit of the Book of Zion. And I want you to realize we're talking about the police here. Okay, so Isaiah 59:4 says, "None call for justice, nor any plead for truth. They trust in vanity and speak lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity." Ezekiel 22:29, "The people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery and have vexed the poor and the needy. Yea, they have oppressed the stranger wrongfully." Psalms 10:8 and 9. "He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly, as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth them into his net." And it goes on. Psalm 64:5 and 6. "They encourage each other of all evil matters. They commune of making snares privily. They say, Who shall see them? They search out iniquity. They accomplish a diligent search. But the inward thoughts of every one of them, and the heart is deep." This is talking about the police, their actions, what they're doing, the killing of the innocents in the lurking places. Think about sorry, names are a real problem with me because I work on a higher level and names are associated with bodies and bodies perish. So if I forget a name, it's because it's attached to a body and not a soul. Souls have their own names. Mine's a Zion. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. The police. are the oppressors, and they're oppressing the poor, the needy. And I am here to champion the cause of these people. And the Bible is saying they're doing nothing but harm. Don't trust them. Don't call on them because they're the enemy. They want you to call on them so they have an excuse to kill you. How many deaths have been caused by us calling them for help? Too many. I don't know the numbers. I'll have to Google it. But please Google it. Find out for me. Because I'm sure that way too many people have called the police. Take the girl, the teenage girl that was trying to stab somebody who recently died. There was no need for her to die. Why couldn't that cop have pointed that fucking gun at her ankle? Make her a cripple for life, but don't take her life. Don't call the police. They're not here to help you. You're giving them an excuse to do you more harm. So, but nobody can justify such a statement without a plan. I have a plan, and it's very simple. Before you have a problem that requires the police, you get together with your neighbors and your friends, people you associate with, the business owners in the local area, and you create a community watch. We already have them, don't we? In a lot of places. Now, those neighborhood watch people can be trained in psychology, in de-escalation techniques. You can create a team within your neighborhood made up of people who are qualified or have access to qualified people preset, where they can call a psychiatrist and say, hey, look, this is happening. What do I do? That's all it would take. Because a lot of our problems are emotionally based. So instead of calling a cop who has a gun who wants to kill you and is trained to do so, call your neighborhood watch person who's in charge of mental health, who has qualified mental health experts who are on call. And they come over so that when your teenage daughter is having a breakdown and you can't deal with it and things are escalating, you call this person who knows. And they come and they deal with it. They have the qualifications to lead this person to qualified help. And if we have a community that has this set up in advance, we have it set up so that that person who is going to help them with their mental issues is compensated in some fashion. It doesn't have to be money. It can be services rendered in other means, which is part of the temple complex that I and my Temple of Zion um, thought up in our think tank. So it's very simple. Each person in your neighborhood has a skill, something that you can contribute to the overall community. You offer your skill to the community through the temple network. And in exchange, you receive services from other members who are qualified in their fields. So instead of calling A&E Electric, you call your electrician in the temple complex, and he comes over and he helps you with your electrical issues. And in exchange, you being a babysitter, babysit for free. So you have a daycare. He has an electrical hobby that he does after hours. It's like you're too poor to afford an electrician, so that his boss is not going to lose anything, because you would have had to have just gone out and done something else. So he's not losing anything, but your friend benefits from increased income by not having to deal with social things for his services. So you preset a network to where, it's like that person with the green thumb has the ability to produce food for the entire neighborhood. And Joe Blow has a backyard that got nothing in it. They got no kids. There's plenty of room for a garden. So Joe Blow, the mechanic, or Joe Blow is a retired older gentleman. He has nothing but time. So, but he has had a profession all his life. He was a mechanic. So now he takes the young hoodlums off the street and teaches them how to be mechanics. They can go get a job in the real world, make money for themselves to establish themselves, to help build a community. And pretty soon you have a community that's a real community that has the ability to, instead of that kid stealing because he can't meet his basic needs are met within the community because the gardener feeds him. Um, the mechanic is teaching him a trade. His time is occupied. His whole gang is involved. So the gang becomes what? A part of the community. Each individual member, instead of violent killers, become cherished members of the community because all they lack is opportunity. So let's stop calling the police and start calling on each other. Because if we call on each other and not the police, pretty soon the police are going to be patrolling neighborhoods that are so well run that they have no opportunity to kill. Because everybody is minding their own business, following the cops' laws, the laws of the state, and everything has been de-escalated. You go from being a violent neighborhood where police are killing people every other day, and gang violence and people dying and killing, to an integrated community that has resources that has nothing to do with money. Because 9 times out of 10, it's money that's the problem. Money has nothing to do with the gardener's ability to grow food. And you can take produce from the production, from your food stamps, and you can take the refuse from that you can't eat and you can plant it and it can become food that will sustain you forever and it's more healthy because it's not chemicalized by the insecticides and pesticides and herbicides or whatever. So your community becomes peaceful, integrated, cooperative, nonviolent, because there's no need for violence because you as a community have addressed the issue that caused this violence. Lack of. Lack of money leads to lack of education. Well, let me see. The little old lady down the street not only has another backyard that's unoccupied, she used to be a teacher. So now she can tutor the kids. So, like, instead of going out in the street and being gangbangers, they can be incentivized to go from school to her house, do their homework, and then they get a reward for something in the community. The community can set up, okay, this much money out of my account, out of my income is no longer needed. I've already bought all my new toys, so I've got this income I'm not doing anything with. That goes to the community bank. And then that community bank can take and buy a computer for a kid who needs it for school, fulfilling a need. But you don't have to give all of this extra income to the community. God, no. Please feel free to splurge on whatever you want because whatever you splurge on is going to help you and your community in the long run. So we can stop calling the police and start calling on each other. Because you know that one person in your community that can calm any bad situation. So when the fighting gets going and you need to call somebody to calm it down, why not call her? Because she can do the job better than a cop because she has that ability and the cop doesn't even try. So, may the great watch over you, guide you, protect you, keep you from harm, and teach you right from wrong. May you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light the unicorn way. Find your joy and pursue it. Make that your guild choice when we get to Camp Zion. If you use drugs, stay happy and high, you have every right and reason to. Believe me, I know. I wrote the books about it. I am the Zion of the Most High God of Israel. prophet foretold in the 54th chapter of the book of Isaiah, and I'm here to set us free, bring us peace, unite us into a nation called Zion. And I never say goodbye. So I'm going to say, I never say goodbye. I'm going to say later now.